trainers, travelers, and battlers. Woo! You already know what it is. Jake Devin back at it with another video. I know I've been on the Nightmare Cup hype lately, but in this video we're going to be showing some of the regional practice that we've been putting in. Here you go, up against Jon Snow in the flesh. He tilted us in the Tempest Cup, but we're back for some vengeance in some practice battles at least. Now, he's got out the Bastiodon. Even if I got to use a shield at this point, I just want to charge farm it as much as I can against the Bastiodon because Medicham is broken, so I want to save up as much charge as I can for whichever Pokemon's going to be coming out next. Now, he does have the Azumarill, which is going to be a very good counter, unfortunately, against our Medicham, and we just are running the Power-Up Punch and Ice Punch. Now, previously when I was practicing, I had Psychic on it specifically for scenarios like this, where if I got stuck in a switch, I'd have something at least slightly useful potentially against Azumarill, but we ended up taking it off because I was getting sick of things like Altaria destroying me. And we also have this Frenzy Plant Venusaur. I know you saw it doesn't have Sludge Bomb as a second move. I'm out of charge TMs, hashtag charge farm struggle. But we wanted to bring out the Tentacruel anyway and flex it a bit. I really like Tentacruel. With what I've tested so far, it's performed pretty well for me. It has decent matchups, especially with Medicham here, because he's going to resist the counter and the Power-Up Punch, because Poison is resistant to fighting, and we can potentially, just use the Acid Spray as much as we can to get his defense lower. Then just like that right there, come in with the Razor Leaf Venusaur. And even though he might have had an Ice Punch ready to go, the Razor Leaf is just going to obliterate him with, his lower defense and Razor Leaf being so insanely busted to begin with. We did several battles against Jon Snow. One of them I ended up cutting out just because this video would have ended up being way too long. I know nobody wants to sit down for 18 to 20 minutes and watch, battles. I mean, you want to see some good battles, but I also wanted to make sure we got probably the highlights of the battles in, some Pokemon that we can feature in these battles. Now, with what I've tested so far for Sableye, I can't say I've really tested it that much. I literally just maxed it out and gave it a second move today. But so far, I'm really not liking it. I might just not be experienced enough with it. That was pretty clutch right there. We were able to get off the Hydro Pump. Maybe he was anticipating Acid Spray because we used it before. But nah! It's the Hydro Pump, my guy.
Bruh.
Not going to waste a shield here. That's not going to make any sense. Let him use his energy on, the 10 HP that's going to be left. And we're going to bring out the Sableye here and save up a little bit since we know the Shadow Claw is going to be able to get rid of him in time. He was able to get off that charge move right away, so I wanted to, do as much as I could, but it didn't work out. But now we have the Quag, so I'm really hoping at this point he doesn't, have any Razor Leafers, so we're just going to go for the Sludge Bomb here, because, Poison is going to be super effective to Azumarill, because Azumarill is part Fairy typing, and Fairy is weak to Poison. Even though we're not able to eliminate it right off the bat, we were able to get rid of both of those shields. So I consider that a win. Unfortunately, that might have been charge move priority. I'm not sure, but we died before we were able to get to the Sludge Bomb. But that's all right, because we have the Sableye ready to come out to take care of the Medicham. That's basically what you want to be using Sableye for, is to counter Medicham. So I asked some people about his additional charge move. I feel like Shadow Sneak might be a little bit more reliable. However, you're definitely, at this point, I'm going to say you're definitely going to want to stick with Power Gem as the second move. You want the Shadow Claw as the fast move, Foul Play, and Power Gem as the charge moves. Shadow Sneak, you're probably going to get to quicker, but it's just such a terrible move, and it's really not, super effective against a lot of the meta. If you want a really spammy Ghost-type charge move, do what I'm about to do here in a second. This was my immediate thought, as I was like, as I finished that battle, I'm like, you know what? I'm not liking Sableye that much. Let's try our Haunter, because we invested into him recently. He has Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch, as well as Sludge Bomb. I don't have a Legacy Haunter with Shadow Ball right now. I'm trying to find one, but trying to find Legacy Pokemon is like trying to find the Holy Grail. It's not going to happen, and if it does, you're pretty lucky. He didn't block the Thunderbolt. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just wasn't thinking. Maybe he's testing out some things too to see if he can tank blows like that, but obviously he can. Azumarill's like a tank. It's a monster. But we're able to take out the Azumarill to get rid of it. I only tried Lantern this once, I think. I did kind of like it. Lantern, I think, still is going to have a solid place in the original Cup meta. It has a lot of use and it counters a lot, such as Azumarill. You know, if you have the Thunderbolt, if they have a Scarm, it's going to take care of Scarm. It has a lot of good matchups all around, I think. But here's where our Hunter shines. You see how quick we can get to that Shadow Punch there to either bait the shield or just get rid of the Medicham. It's insanely good. Not to mention Haunter is so resistant to fighting type moves because he's ghost and poison typing. Now we wanted to do as much damage as we could at that point or just bait the shield, so we went for the Sludge Bomb because if he didn't block it, it probably would have KO'd him, but we were able to get to the Shadow Punch because Haunter can get to it so quick anyway. But it might have been a little bit of overkill because we had the Medicham with the Ice Punch essentially ready to go. So that's GG's to that, and we're able to take the match no matter what he was going to do at that point, I guess. We just had the matchups. I wanted to lead with Haunter initially was my thoughts before in that previous battle, but Haunter being so squishy, I don't necessarily want to lead with him because if they come in with something that can be super effective to Haunter potentially, then that might be bad news for me for the long term of the battle. Now, going into another one here, we're going to lead with the Azumarill. We got the good lead matchup here. We got basically the perfect counter against his Medicham. Obviously, I know this is going to be a power-up punch or an ice punch at this point, so I'm not blocking it. Brings out the Altaria. Okay, so I mean, we're gonna tank the Sky Attack. I want to charge farm a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, I'd like making people think about what I'm going to do. And hopefully, I guess, in the efforts that maybe they're going to second guess themselves and whether they should or should not shield. That's not, a super advanced strategy. I feel like that's kind of basic. It does work sometimes, especially if, it's, for example, let's say if it's your first matchup against that opponent for your rounds or for your battles, and they don't know already what charge moves that you have. It's good to probably charge farm a little bit if you can. If you have the good matchup, shield advantage or energy advantage or whatever, it's good to overcharge a little bit so they can, they need to think and they need to make a judgment call. Like, am I going to block this or am I not going to block it? I did test out this Mud Boy here. He performed all right. I think he performs very well against a lot of the meta as a whole. The main thing, obviously, you're going to want to be looking out for is those Razor Leafers like Venusaur. Obviously, Tropius. I hate Tropius, but, you need to keep your eyes out for Tropius because he can destroy Quagsire, obviously, as well as Wishikash there. So we got the mirror match going up here. I think I ended up winning this mirror match because he just goes in for the power-up punches. Now, in the mirror match, you're going to want to go for Ice Punch. If you don't have Psychic or Psycho Cut, go for the Ice Punch because that's going to deal neutral damage. And Medicham, if you're just using fighting type moves, he's going to resist himself because being, fighting type does not resist fighting type. Fighting type is neutral to fighting type, but Medicham is fighting and psychic typing, so his fighting type moves are resisted by another Medicham because he's also part psychic typing. As you know, psychic is super effective to fighting. There you go, I guess. That was a little overkill, but hey, it is what it is. Now, we have the positive matchup again. I know I can take a Sky Attack, potentially 2 Sky Attacks, so I want to try and charge farm a little bit for this matchup so we can bait the shields or just get rid of his Altaria. Now, I probably called it a little close. Maybe I should have shielded there to maintain my investment in Azumarill, but it didn't really make much of a difference anyway because he was able to get off another Sky Attack. Now, it brings out the Medicham. I kind of regret using so much energy. I should have potentially charged farmed a little more because we possibly could have gotten off another play rough against that Medicham. But we have the matchup right now anyway. We're bringing out the Alolan Marowak. Flashbacks to Kingdom Cup. I didn't use him. I definitely should have. But he's really reliable in this matchup against Medicham. The Hex is going to be doing a good amount of damage. Not as much as Shadow Claw would be doing from the likes of Sableye and Haunter. But still, you can charge up this pretty quick, so you can do things like this. I don't know why I went for the Bone Club. That wasn't the smart choice. I got a little paranoid. I was thinking, oh, he's going to kill me before I can do anything. But now I should have saved up. But we're able to get the Shadow Ball off against this Charizard that he had anyway. So even though he's able to get rid of our Alolan Marowak, we still have Tentacruel in the back with the 1 shield lead advantage. So Charizard, I think that's the only really mistake he made. He's just trying it out. Everybody's just testing things still at this point, I guess, in my area. So it's just testing. But yeah, as you can see, Charizard's probably not going to be the best choice depending on what the other people have. Charizard, I guess, is going to be okay against Skarmory, depending on shields. It's going to be good, obviously, against Venusaur as well as Tropius. Now, Charizard, even though he's so squishy already and he can die super quick, he is double resistant to Tropius because Tropius, their Razor Leaf move is grass typing, and Charizard is flying, which resists grass, and also fire, which resists grass. So keep that in mind. That is a niche use for Charizard, I guess. Now, I think we ended up losing this one. Obviously, he came out with the shiny Alolan Raichu, flexing on me a little bit, but I didn't really have ideal matchups for him. The best thing I could do is to bring out this Sableye because Shadow Claw is going to be super effective to Alolan Raichu because, as you know, Alolan Raichu is part Psychic typing. So that's pretty much all we could realistically do. I didn't want to bring out my Azumarill to get spanked by the Raichu because I want to save it for something like this, because I can see so far throughout all these battles that he really likes using his Altaria. So I got to bring something to the table that can deal with it, whether that's Bastiodon or Azumarill or Frostlass. You know, something's got to come out that can take care of it. We go for the play rough against the Medicham at this point. Obviously, he's going to block it. I'm not going to block this power-up punch. I know I can tank it. And we're able to get off another move anyway, because Azumarill is such a tank. Like, don't underestimate your own Azumarill. You know, you'd be surprised how much you can tank. If they potentially have a super effective charge move to use against you, like Sludge Bomb or any grass type moves, or even electric moves, you know, potentially you're going to want to block that. Those are the things you got to look out for, the super effective things. But if it's something that's either neutral or he resists, there's a good chance Azumarill can tank it and you can get to another charge move. We did lose. That was super close. You saw it was by the skin of our teeth. We lost that one. I think that Altaria had like 0.5 HP left. Anyways, going into the next battle here, I think this is actually the last battle of this video, going up against Jon Snow. And in the next battles, the next video, we're going to be doing a lot more battles against, No-Handed Bandit again. We did some regional cup practice with him as well, so we'll be featuring that. Now, this is a matchup I really wanted to test, so I was happy he actually ended up leading with Tropius. I want to see how Bastiodon does against him, and I'm pretty much just going to be charging up. I don't know if it's really safe necessarily to charge farm, because you're going to have to use at least one shield against the Tropius, but you can essentially, from what you saw, you can take it out with just the Smackdowns, because Smackdown is amazing. I had a good read there. We switched away right to the Frostlass because I had a good feeling he was going to bring in something that's going to try and deal a good amount of damage pretty quick. And I was safe going into Frostlass because at that point he was either going to do Medicham or Altaria, based on how my previous matches have gone with him. That kind of seems like his habits at this point. But we're able to get off the Shadow Ball against the Raichu, takes it out super quick, bring out the Bastiodon, throw out that Stone Edge, and that's going to be GG's after we get the next one off here in just a second. So GG's to the battles and GG's to the video because it's over. Please subscribe if you feel my vibe. Most importantly, I do want you to leave some comments this time on the Regional Cup meta. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Some Pokemon you think might be clutch. I'm willing to try anything at this point. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's all there is to it. We will see you in the next video. Please make sure that you have a good freaking day.